Okay, so the motorcycle here, it's a 1954 125cc 4-stroke Terrot or Magnat Debon. Here, this is the Magnat Debon, as you see here, and this motorcycle is in totally original condition. As you see here, it was redone mechanically, only partially, because not all the mechanics until now needed thorough restoration. It is registered here in Poland on some plates for ancient vehicles, as you see here, and the motorcycle has not been repainted at any time except of the fuel tank, which was in some time changed because the original was very rusted, and too expensive restoration of that tank cost me to change the tank to some that has been repainted earlier. But except for that, the motorcycle is all original. I would like to present you some basic manual to how to use these motorcycles, because there is no such thing on the YouTube as for now in 2025, and especially in English. So as you see here, this is traditional French motorcycle layout of all the controls, because French motorcycles, as British motorcycles, have the gear selector here on the right, and on the left, as you see, there is a brake, rear brake lever, as you see here, and the starter is also here. Okay, so starting from the handlebars here, let me catch the focus. So you have a traditional clutch here. This is the horn button. I made it here. This is not an original button, as you see here. This is something else. Original button was probably here. Then this lever, as you see here, this is the ignition timing. You can advance or retard the ignition. This is retarded ignition, and this is full avance, the French called plein avance. So when you are wanting to start the motorcycle, you go here, and when you are driving, you just go full avance, plein avance, and you're ready to go. You do not manipulate it further. We will make it here. We will retard the ignition for now, because we will be starting the motorcycle. And the second thing is, my ignition is a bit too early, and I do not want to damage the engine. It is set a bit too early, because setting the ignition is kind of hard. This here is the speedometer. As you see, my motorcycle has 23,000 of kilometers. This is a second non-original thing. Everything else is I think is generally original in this motorcycle. This is the light switch. So this is now it is turned off. This is lights, and this is long road light. Okay, this is not important because it's not original. Front brake, and the gas, of course, as you see. Okay, so now going further, we will let me catch the focus. Okay, so here you see the engine. You know everything about normal 4-stroke layout, so I will not explain it in some detailed way, but I will present some things that are specific to this motorcycle. So here you have a magneto wheel, the flywheel, connected with ignition and with lights. There you have 2 or 3, depending on the production year, coils, which one is an ignition coil and 2 are lights coils. There should be a cover of aluminium that I have, but now I have it taken out because I am figuring out the ignition in the meantime, so I'm not placing it on for now. This is the condensator. I have made it outside. It is originally placed down there because the original condensator is very very specific, and it has failed. It is not okay, so I had to place it to place some another condensator here outside. This is your I will show it to you more precisely. This is the light out terminal for the cables, and this here, this is basically my only creative invention here in the motorcycle. This is the cable that goes from the ignition, from the condensator, and from the points. As you see, this connects here to the turn off button, because this motorcycle from factory had any turn off button. Okay, but this will be shown off later. Okay, so as you see here, this is your toolbox. Here you have some frame numbers. The number plate is here, but the number plate is referred to the engine, and the frame number is here. This is your seat amortizzator. These are two regulation nuts, this one and this one. One turns softens or hardens the seat, and the second one is the regulation of the way, how high and how low will the seat go. So because the motorcycle is of course rigid back, as you see here. Okay, here you have rear light, which is the rear plate in two things in one. And going further, here you have your horn, of course. This is interesting. This is an original plate from the 1950s with the name and a place of probably storing the motorcycle, home of the owner here. This is your oil tank, all in original condition, unrestored. Here you have the pipe which goes from the engine, and you will see that there will be oil flow there. The cap is also an oil flow control light. So, and there you have oil level. Here you have a carburetor. This is the flow button to float the carburetor when starting. This is of course the valve of fuel. This is the locked position, the position when the flow is blocked. There is from the other side there is a hole drilled, which represents the open flow, because a hole, and this is plugged, like this side is blank without any hole. So if you press this, the flow will be turned on. And here is of course your gear selector, as I said some minutes before. This is very comfortable, because when you are downgrading, when you are going down with gears, you can use the back of your foot here, and this is very comfortable. This is very fine. I like it very much. And the gear layout in these motorcycles is neutral, 1, 2, 3, 4, all going with here. So if I would go back a bit more now, I would go from neutral to 1, and then 2, 3, 4, and that's all. And when you are retrograding, you can go like that, or of course like that, as I said. And this is the ignition switch and the oil valve 2-in-1, because these motorcycles have a common problem, that there is a valve located there, like underneath the clutch, because the clutch is here, and underneath there is a brass valve with a spring, and this valve fails very often. It it is supposed to hold pressure from the oil tank to the engine, because this is a dry sump, like in, for example, Norton motorcycles, in British motorcycles. But the valve is failing, and then the all oil comes down to the engine, and then the oil is put out by the breather, which is located here, and you lose your all oil and lose the lubrication, and it is just you need to have a huge mess everywhere. So to prevent that, you can put an oil valve, but then if you would forgot to open the valve, you would also destroy the motor, because there will be no oil and no lubrication in the engine. So what you can make very simply, this is the cable that I showed you earlier. You connect it to the metal handled valve. You place the valve on rubber hoses, not to be connected with the frame and everything else, with the mass, with the ground, and you make a ground connection here. So now it is locked, and the cable from the points from the condensator, and this is connected with mass, so now it has no spark, and it cannot fire and destroy. It cannot destroy your engine, because you cannot. You do not have oil flow, but you do not have ignition. Also, if you would put it like that, then it is the oil flow is turned on. Now the oil from here flows down there, but the ignition is turned on, because the electricity from the points is not going to the ground. It's working properly. Now we will turn it off. I will be starting the motor in the meantime. So this is the clutch central nut. You do not want to turn it off. You do not touch it. When you are going to access the clutch, you just undo these screws. If you will undo this, the clutch will lose its regulation, and it will be very hard to go back to its original regulation. So you do not want to touch it. Here you have your speedometer train. This has a grease nipple here. Also, as you see, I have a very unusual Samsung made in Israel front tire. I use it like that for now, but I have to change those tires. But it will be done, I think, for some time. I have done only 500 kilometers on this motorcycle now, so it's not a big deal. But I will change the tires, because they are also now, I think, like from the 50s, so it's not the safest. And some mechanical things. This is your bayonet for the bayonet. We call it bayonet in Polish. I don't know how to say it in English. This is the stick that you control your gearbox level. You place here and here the same oil, 20W50 oil. If you would put gear oil here, the gearbox would not function properly. It's constructed for normal engine oil. Go here, check it. I am a bit low on oil, as you see, but it's not the matter for starting the motor for a few, I don't know, even minutes, but it should reach the notch on the stick. Okay, so now I think I will be proceeding to start the motor, but I will also show you that as you see, this is the cylinder, this is the cylinder head, just from now until this place, and this is the rocker cover. You have rockers there, you regulate them. Here is a brass rocker guide, the guide of the sticks that push the rockers. It is here. It can along the years it can wear, and this is very hard to repair. I had to do this on this motorcycle. This is under there. When you would lift a cylinder, you would see the guide. Any knocks during the work of the motor can be from, of course, from the crankshaft, from the valve train, but also from the guide being just loose and going away, and another in the cylinder block. So be careful with that, and do not ignore any knocks, because if you would continue the motor for working with the guide loose, it would cause much more problems, because the block would wear more and more. Okay, so now the procedure of starting. To start the motorcycle, of course, you turn on your fuel, then you want to flood, you wait for the fuel to come down, and then you flood the carburetor. You wait for it to go full, because you want to have a rich mixture during the start. Okay, it is now flooding, as you see, or as you do not see. Here is your choke. This is the position this is the normal position. You place it towards you. In this position you have choke, no choke, and choke. So you have fuel figured out to the starting, and now it is also oil. In our case, oil. Okay, you check if it's in neutral. It is, so we can start the motorcycle now. Coming to the end, you have a central also a few mechanical questions that are also worth mentioning, that you have also grease nipples on your rear hub. I cannot show it to you because it's getting dark, but there is a grease nipple. You have a grease nipple also here, and you have a grease nipple on the frame, on the turning bearings, which is here. Also worth noticing that Terrot and Magnat Debon had different decorations on the tanks, because Terrot had red, the underpaint was red, and Magnat Debon had green. And it also is a case when you talk about the caps, which Magnat Debon cap has M and D here, and the Terrot has TT here. They came in, Terrot had red and white and black, and Magnat Debon had, I think, green and black caps. If you want to access the bulb, you undo this, and there you have a bulb, which is now an original 1950s beautiful yellow bulb on the headlight. And speaking of the engine and stand, here on the spring, this is not original. This is from, I think, from smaller Terrot or from Gnomerone, because I did not have an original stand. And this is also worth mentioning, how the engine looks from the underneath. So, as you see here, you have a drain from the gearbox. Here you have a cable, and here you have a clutch lever, and you never this is very important, never undo these 4 screws, because you can cause the gearbox to dismount itself. You know, the things that move the gears, they will fall out from their places in a disc that is rotating inside the gearbox and the selector disc, and they will be very hard to place in the disc further. So you do not want to do that, to undo these 4 screws from the plate. Even if it's leaking, then this is better that to be leaking than to be risking to disassemble internally the gearbox. Also worth noting here that there are, see, this is the diff wheel. There are 2 types, one for the ETD, which has the dynamo here, and one for the ETM, because this motorcycle is a Terrot ETM or Magnat Debon M4TM with the Magneto wheel and not with the dynamo, and the wheels differ because ETD has the counter cable go from here. Here you have a big screw. It has a special notch which places in the position of any gear, first, second, third and fourth gear, the disc that is moving the wheels of the gearbox in 2 certain positions. There is a notch with a spring that locks the disc in certain position that corresponds to the gear you want to have, you want to put